Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. Today we're going to be talking about John Gottman's What Makes Love Last. If you've been with me through all of these chapters that we've covered, it's been quite a journey. I think we're on like 40 something videos now. I did skip the last chapter just because I wasn't comfortable. It's called Connecting Through Intimate Sex. So you may want to pick up your own copy. Definitely if you're trying to recover from infidelity, it's worth a read. The book is just amazing overall, so I highly recommend you pick up your own copy. And then of course, if you want to just watch these videos, Gottman has an institute too, where you can subscribe to the Marriage Minute email. Also, they have this podcast. Sorry, I'm all itchy. I think it's from my dogs. They have this podcast called Small Things Often, which summarizes in 5 minutes or less a lot of the lessons that he's trying to teach us. So all really, really good stuff. As I've mentioned in other videos, I don't get compensated for talking about Gottman, Gibson, or any of the other authors that we talk about. They're just books that are really, really good and close to my heart and stuff that we use in helping clients. So if you haven't had a chance, please do check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can take our free life balance questionnaire and send it to us in an email. You can also just fill out a contact form and connect with us, and the first consult is always free. Also, if you're taking the time to watch these videos, please do like and subscribe. It really helps us YouTubers here to have that support from the community. So I love all of your comments. Love hearing from you guys. I'm pretty good about responding. And if you message on the website, I am the one who responds. So you are getting me, not a bot, not an employee, nothing like that. So thanks for being here with me today. And without further ado, we'll dive in. We're almost done with this book. This is chapter 12, How to Know When It's Time to Go. So not every relationship is salvageable. There are limits. It's very commendable if you're putting the time towards improving your relationship, but sometimes for your own self and for your well-being, you gotta go. So that's what we're gonna cover in this chapter. The notion that a relationship may have reached its expiration date is almost antithetical to me. Like many of my colleagues, I believe the death of love is a tragedy. I am a creature of hope and root for couples to prevail. But I have also worked with some for whom love has turned into hate and hope into bitterness. Sad though it is, sometimes it is the right decision for people to part ways. It is pointless to attempt to rescue when a relationship has already expired. In these cases, couples need inner strength and support from others to cope with the heartbreak and move on to happier lives. Why do relationships fail despite measures to revive them? In some cases, the answer is simple. At least one partner may just want out or be unwilling to acknowledge his or her contribution to the trouble. But there are deeper causes as well. I've had people in failing marriages ask whether their problems were normal. That's an awkward question to use, but I understand the question. One member may suffer from a mental illness or personality disorder that precludes real intimacy or prevents the other from feeling safe. It's not surprising that such relationships have a high failure rate. A common example is narcissism, a personality disorder that bars authentic connection with another person. In response, the rejected partner can feel anger, fear, or self-doubt. In this brief dialogue, the wife reacts to her husband's narcissism by becoming depressed, which is not uncommon. Her hopelessness prevents her from seeing that her husband's problem is destroying their marriage. Perry, sobbing. Nothing matters to me anymore. I don't even care if I die tomorrow. I need help. Jake. Well, as you know, I don't believe in therapy. Can't you at least hold out for a few months till we're on that new health plan? He's thinking, her health problems always cost so much money. She gets those migraines and that stomach thing. Now she needs a shrink. I should have married someone less high maintenance. Perry. Oh. In her mind, she's thinking, I'm not even worth saving. It is fortunate that Perry's family intervenes and her depression is treated. Once the couple enter marital therapy, she has to accept that her husband lacks empathy and, because he refuses to believe he can be anything less than perfect, is incapable of change. Perceiving no hope for the marriage, she files for divorce. But in most cases, the decision to save the marriage or let it go isn't so clear. I have counseled many couples where one partner expresses shock that the other one wants out. The conversations often go like this. She, I want a divorce. He, I had no idea you were that unhappy. Why didn't you tell me? She, I have tried to tell you for the past 9 years. Or, he, why didn't you say anything to me about being upset? We could have gone for therapy sooner. She, what was the point? It would have only led to more arguing, and it would turn out to be all my fault as usual. Such exchanges are so common in a therapist's office that it's been nearly impossible to discern which of these relationships are salvageable. But now I can tell whether a partnership has reached its expiration date. I call my gauge the story of us switch. It detects the cumulative trust or distrust and betrayal quotient in a relationship based on how either partner thinks about their shared past. I term this indicator a switch rather than, say, a dial, because I rarely see gradations in what people recall about their romantic history. They either have joyful memories or, click, bitter ones. There is little middle ground. If the switch is on positive, it acts as a strong buffer against momentary irritability and emotional distance. A negative setting is the endpoint of negative sentiment override, in which one assumes the worst about the partner. Even if only one partner switches off, it heralds the relationship's death. In psychological research, it is not common to find such a powerful predictor of future disaster. We need to pay close attention to what it is telling us in order to save couples from this fate. In the lab, I assess each partner's story of us through a detailed interview script my team devised called the Oral History Interview. This list of questions includes the kind of getting to know you queries that you might ask a couple you meet at a dinner party, as well as deeper questions that you might employ during a conversation with a close friend. In the interview, we ask couples how they met and their first impressions, details about their dating, how their relationship has changed over time, their philosophy of relationships, and their opinion of other people's. I base this interview approach on the technique pioneered by Studs Terkel, the renowned radio host whose riveting show featured ordinary people recounting their extraordinary lives. As his guests talked, Terkel avoided the usual neutral responses, like that people often use to encourage a storyteller and that therapists often employ. Such murmurs would sound annoying over the air. Instead, when an interviewee paused, Terkel would exclaim something like, "Wow, that is truly amazing." Then he'd move on to another question and turn silent again. This approach let him splice himself out of the tape so that only the subject's story remained. His method turned his guests into dramatic narrators of their compelling life stories. I found that my couples responded to interviews much like Terkel's radio guests. People seemed to need to tell their stories. Even the unhappy couples wanted to divulge their past to us. In one study, Robert Levinson and I decided to skip this interview segment in order to save time and money. But our subjects, expecting it to be part of the process, insisted on it. Both the happy and unhappy couples wanted to share their memories. Before any oral history interview, my amazingly capable interviewers make it clear to our subjects that we consider their personal reminiscences unique and can only learn about the relationship through them. They are the experts. When the oral history is complete, I analyze each couple's responses and assess how positive or negative. The sentence doesn't make sense. When the oral history is complete, I analyze each couple's responses and assess how positive or negative their relationship story is. Those with only negative memories have turned their relationship switch to off. Not all such couples split. Some remain unhappily married, leading parallel lives in which they cohabit but no longer trust each other. The oral history interview is such a strong measure of relationship satisfaction because the couple's present attitude and concerns color what they recall about the past, shifting both their memories and what they emphasize about their history together. There is a biological basis for this phenomenon. Recent research by neurobiologists into the brain's processes shows that it rewrites and reorganizes memories based on what they mean to us right now. Our identity, how we perceive ourselves, who we think we are, where we come from, depend upon neural networks that continue to develop. For that reason, later experiences influence and even alter what we remember. So then there are 5 different dimensions that he's going to cover in this chapter. I'll go over them briefly and then cover each one in sequence. So dimension 1 is the fondness and admiration system. If I can get to it. Dimension 2 is meanness versus we-ness. Okay. 3 is a love map of the partner's inner world. 4 is glorifying your struggles versus flailing in chaos. And the last is disappointment versus satisfaction. So in the remaining videos, I'll cover these again, or cover these separate sections in detail. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I know this video was a little longer than the other ones, just because we're covering the introduction into how to know when it's time to go. Again, this is John Gottman's What Makes Love Last. Thanks for being here with me today. Please do like and subscribe if you like this series. We have a couple other series too if you'd like to check them out. One on Lindsay Gibson's works on emotionally immature parenting and emotionally immature relationships. Unfortunately, we replicate our parent-child relationships into our romantic ones, and we tend to choose partners that match the maturity level of our parents. Hopefully that's not the case for you, but it's always good to learn more about it if you're interested in that one. We also have another channel called Sci Fi, Science Fiction Saturdays, and we're talking about Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land there. So that one's just random and fun. Please do check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. And thanks for spending time with me. Look forward to chatting with you next time. Bye-bye.